I'm going to join in the comments of my colleague and friend, Senator DeFrancisco. It's not fruitful, it's not ongoing, it's dead, it's fruitless, it's a disgrace what we're involved in right now. Now, I'm going to touch on something that Senator DeFrancisco briefly touched on. Reality is, we are at a crossroads. We're out of cash. We are out of cash. And the way we staved off the inevitable was in a temporary way by saying the $2.3 billion that was supposed to go out June 1st to our school districts, who have been clamoring for the money, we're not paying it because we don't have it. And then on top of that, we take $500 million from the short-term investment pool. And I know in some respects this is absolutely tedious to listen to, but it is so incredibly important. We took $500 million from that fund, and last year, in the budget, we made this funky little change that allowed some of this to happen. Last year, before we enacted the budget, any money that was ever borrowed from that pool had to be paid back within the same month. That's not the rule anymore. Now it can be done crossed over months. So now, instead of paying it back within the inside of a month, it can go for 4 months or to the end of the fiscal year, whichever is shorter. And I know that there are some discussions, not on a list, not publicly, about potentially doing intra-year transfers. The head of the division of the budget is quoted as late as this afternoon. New York has been able to stave off an empty treasury thanks to holding back on aid to municipalities and schools. Division of Budget Director Robert Megna said this afternoon. And then he goes on to say, I think it really depends, in terms of layoffs and things we're facing, how successful the early retirement program is. But there's almost no scenario under the early retirement program where we would get all the savings we need. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of money. I don't know how we can possibly go back to our constituents and say it's ongoing and it's fruitful. There's nothing going on. There's nothing that's happened since the leaders' meeting last week. I went to parades over the weekend just like everybody else. It's embarrassing to have to stand there and say, no, there is no budget. No, there is no prospect of a budget happening anytime soon. So I'm going to do what I've done for the last 8 weeks. I'm going to exercise the one power, discretion, and absolute authority that I have, just like everybody else in this chamber and across the way in the Assembly. I'm going to use my vote. That's the one thing that makes me as powerful as any leader, any chair in either house. And I'm going to vote no because it's ridiculous that we're letting this charade and this folly go on. The taxpayers deserve a lot better and a lot quicker.